November 9th marks a date that could put an extra $2,000 directly into your bank account, but only if you meet specific requirements that most people don't even know about. Right now, across America, millions of retirees are asking the same question: is this money really coming? And more importantly, will I actually receive it? The confusion is real, and it's costing people who qualify thousands of dollars simply because they don't understand how the system works or what steps they need to take. Here's what's actually happening behind the headlines. While social media is buzzing with claims about automatic deposits and widespread relief payments, the truth is far more nuanced than what you're seeing online. There are eligibility requirements based on your income, your filing status, and even which benefits you're currently receiving. Some seniors will qualify automatically, while others need to take action before a fast-approaching deadline. Missing that deadline doesn't just mean a delay, it could mean losing out entirely. The government isn't sending out mass notifications, and your bank won't call to tell you about this. That's why understanding the real facts, not the rumors, matters more than ever right now. Let me be completely transparent with you right from the start. There's a lot of noise out there about Trump's $2,000 relief plan. And I understand why so many of you are confused, frustrated, or even skeptical. You've probably seen dozens of videos, read countless articles, and maybe even received forwarded messages from friends and family claiming that money is about to hit your account. Some of these sources make it sound like everyone gets the payment automatically, while others suggest you need to jump through hoops just to be considered. The reality sits somewhere in between. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack together today, step by step, without any confusing jargon or misleading information. First, let me address the elephant in the room. Is this payment actually real? Or is it another one of those internet rumors that spreads like wildfire and leaves people disappointed? The answer is yes. There is legitimate government relief being distributed, but the details have been twisted and exaggerated as they've spread across social media platforms. What started as a specific relief initiative has morphed into all kinds of wild claims about universal payments, automatic deposits for everyone on Social Security, and other variations that simply aren't accurate. This is why so many seniors feel lost in the shuffle, not knowing whether to trust what they're hearing or dismiss it entirely as another scam. The truth is that relief payments are being issued, but they're targeted towards specific groups of Americans who meet very particular criteria. This isn't a blanket payment going out to every single person who receives Social Security benefits. And it's definitely not an automatic deposit that requires zero action on your part. The government has structured this relief program with specific income thresholds, benefit requirements, and application processes that determine who qualifies and who doesn't. Understanding these requirements is absolutely essential because missing even one small detail could be the difference between receiving your payment on schedule or missing out entirely. So, let's talk about who actually qualifies for this relief payment. The program is designed primarily for individuals and couples who fall below certain income limits and who are currently receiving specific types of federal benefits. If you're receiving Social Security retirement benefits, Social Security disability insurance, or supplemental security income, you're in the potential qualification pool, but that alone doesn't guarantee you'll receive the payment. Your income from the most recent tax year plays a crucial role in determining eligibility. For single filers, the income threshold sits at a level that phases out the payment as your earnings increase. For married couples filing jointly, that threshold is higher, but it still exists and still matters tremendously. Now, here's where things get a bit more complicated, and this is information that many sources simply aren't explaining clearly. The relief payment isn't just based on your Social Security income alone. The government looks at your adjusted gross income from your most recent tax return, which includes not just your Social Security benefits, but also any other income sources you might have. This could include pension payments, investment income, rental property income, part-time work earnings, or distributions from retirement accounts. All of these income sources get added together to determine your total adjusted gross income. And that final number is what determines whether you qualify for the full payment, a reduced payment, or no payment at all. Let me give you a real-world example to make this clearer. Imagine you're a single retiree receiving $1,500 per month in Social Security benefits. That comes out to $18,000 annually from Social Security alone. Now, let's say you also receive a small pension of $500 monthly, which adds another $6,000 to your annual income. Additionally, you might have some modest investment income from a savings account or some CDs, maybe another $2,000 per year. When you add all of this together, your adjusted gross income is $26,000. This total is what the government uses to determine your eligibility, not just the Social Security portion. This is a critical distinction that trips up many people who assume only their Social Security income matters. The income thresholds change depending on your filing status. Single individuals have one threshold. Married couples filing jointly have another. And there are even different considerations for those who file as head of household. These thresholds aren't arbitrary numbers pulled from thin air. They're based on federal poverty guidelines, cost of living adjustments, and legislative decisions about who needs this relief most urgently. The government has determined that people below certain income levels are facing the most significant financial hardships and therefore should receive priority for these relief funds. But here's something that's causing enormous confusion, and I want to clear this up immediately. The November 9th date that you're seeing everywhere isn't a universal deposit date for everyone who qualifies. Instead, it represents the beginning of the deposit schedule. Payments will be distributed in waves over several weeks, possibly even months, depending on various factors. The Social Security Administration and the IRS work together to process these payments, and they follow a specific order based on how you normally receive your benefits when you filed your taxes and whether they have your current banking information on file. If you typically receive your Social Security benefits via direct deposit, and if the government already has your updated banking information from your most recent tax return or benefit enrollment, you're likely to receive your relief payment via direct deposit as well. This is the fastest method, and people in this category will see their payments arriving first, starting around that November 9th date. However, if you receive your Social Security benefits on a prepaid debit card, or if you still receive paper checks in the mail, your relief payment will follow that same method, which naturally takes longer to process and deliver. There's another group of people who face additional delays, and understanding whether you fall into this category is important for managing your expectations. If you haven't filed a tax return for the most recent tax year, the government might not have current information about your income, your address, or your banking details. This doesn't automatically disqualify you from receiving the payment, but it does mean you might need to take extra steps to claim your relief funds. The IRS has set up specific procedures for people who don't normally file taxes because their income falls below the filing threshold. These individuals often rely entirely on Social Security or SSI and haven't filed a return in years. For this group, there may be a simple online portal or paper form that needs to be completed to provide the government with necessary information. Now, let's talk about something that's causing a lot of anxiety and confusion: scams. Whenever the government announces any kind of payment program, scammers come out of the woodwork trying to take advantage of people's confusion and eagerness to receive their money. You need to understand that the government will never call you asking for personal information to process your relief payment. They will never send you an email with a link asking you to verify your Social Security number or banking details. They will never request any kind of processing fee or advanced payment to release your relief funds. Any communication that asks for these things is absolutely 100% a scam, and you should report it immediately. The legitimate process works like this. If you qualify based on the government's records, your payment will be processed automatically, or you'll receive official correspondence through the mail from the IRS or Social Security Administration explaining what steps you need to take. This official correspondence will never ask you to click links and emails or provide sensitive information over the phone. It will direct you to official government websites that you can verify independently by typing the address directly into your browser, rather than clicking any links. Let's also address the question of whether you can check your eligibility status online. The answer is yes, but you need to use the right resources. The IRS has tools on its official website where you can check the status of various payments and verify your eligibility for relief programs. The Social Security Administration also provides online account access, where you can view your benefit information and any pending payments. These are the only reliable sources for checking your status. Do not trust third-party websites that claim they can check your eligibility faster or easier. Many of these sites are collecting your personal information for identity theft or marketing purposes. Another important aspect that people often overlook is what happens if your circumstances have changed recently. Maybe you got married or divorced in the past year. Perhaps you moved to a new address or changed banks. Maybe you started receiving a new type of income that wasn't reflected in your previous tax return. All of these changes can affect your eligibility or cause delays in receiving your payment. If any major life changes have occurred, it's worth taking a few minutes to update your information with both the IRS and the Social Security Administration. This simple step can prevent weeks or months of delays and frustration. I also want to talk about what happens if you don't receive your payment when you expect it. First, don't panic. Payment processing for millions of Americans takes time, and delays are completely normal. However, if weeks pass beyond when you should have reasonably received your payment, there are steps you can take. The IRS has a dedicated phone line for payment inquiries. Though, I'll be honest with you, wait times can be extremely long during peak periods. An alternative is to check your online account on the IRS website, which often provides more immediate information about your payment status. If you discover there's an actual problem rather than just a delay, such as the payment being sent to an old address or a closed bank account, you can initiate a payment trace to locate your funds and have them reissued. There's also the question of taxes, which I know is on many of your minds. Will this relief payment count as taxable income next year? Generally speaking, most federal relief payments like this are not considered taxable income. They're structured as tax credits or rebates, which means they won't increase your tax burden next year. However, tax laws can be complex, and everyone's situation is unique. So, if you have concerns about how this payment might affect your specific tax situation, it's worth consulting with a tax professional who understands your complete financial picture. Now, I want to address something that might seem obvious, but actually trips up a lot of people. If you're married, the question of how much you'll receive depends on whether you file taxes jointly or separately. Married couples filing jointly may qualify for a higher payment amount, but remember, your combined income must still fall below the threshold. Some couples actually benefit from filing separately if one spouse has significantly higher income that would push their combined total over the limit. This is one of those situations where the rules can work differently depending on your specific circumstances, and there's no one-size-fits-all answer. For those of you who are helping elderly parents or relatives navigate this process, thank you for taking the time to research this information. Many seniors find the complexity of these programs overwhelming, especially when they're bombarded with conflicting information from different sources. Your patience and assistance in helping them verify their eligibility, update their information if needed, and watch for their payment can make a tremendous difference. Just remember to help them stay vigilant against scams. Scammers often target families claiming to be helping elderly relatives when they're actually trying to steal personal information. The bottom line is this: if you qualify based on your income and benefit status, your payment is coming. It might not arrive on exactly November 9th, and it might not be completely automatic depending on your situation, but the money is real and it's being distributed. What you need to do now is make sure the government has your current information. Watch for official correspondence. Ignore any suspicious messages or calls, and be patient as the processing system works through millions of payments. This isn't a situation where panicking or rushing helps anyone. Methodical, careful attention to the official information and protecting yourself from scams is the smartest approach. You